You're listening to the Gabe Molina Podcast.
Get started. So, introduce yourselves.
Okay, my name is Monica Borrego. I'm the Executive Director of the New Braunfels Food Bank.
And I'm Louie Guzman, the Development Manager for the New Braunfels Food Bank.
And this place, now, I work for M&S Engineering. And so we did the MEP design on the building, and I did the plumbing design. So naturally, to me, this is the best food bank in the country.
Of course. Of course it is.
How long has it been up and running?
So we moved into this building in October of 2017, but we were operating out of the kitchen table, which was at the marketplace for a few years before that.
Okay.
But in this facility, October of 2017, it seems like it's flown by.
And you guys, every time that I've come by here, and it hasn't been very often, I think we volunteered once during Christmas, my wife and I.
Yes, that's right.
There's always something going on. And one thing that I thought was pretty cool was when you guys first got up and running, M&S brought some people and volunteered. And super cool to see everything. This facility, I guess, it isn't very big compared to maybe like the one in San Antonio. But y'all have a lot of amenities here. Seems like y'all packed a whole bunch with the commercial kitchen and the grocery store, the warehouse. It seems like y'all packed a lot in a small, tight area.
Mm-hmm. Was that the time we made you get on the roof?
Yes, and I was really scared because I'm afraid of heights. Don't do that again. But one thing that kind of floored me, I guess, was I never really kind of thought too much about who utilizes the food bank, you know? And one thing that kind of struck me was how many older folks use the food bank. And I never thought about it, you know. But yeah, I guess once you get older and you're in a more of a structured budget, it does get tighter. So in addition to them, who else do you guys see coming through here a lot?
Well, for us, the kids. So we have the families with children that come through here. So those are our two main target audiences, are the seniors, of course, and then the families with younger children. And, especially right now as the summer's approaching, as we talked about, the heat coming on, a lot of them will struggle with them food insecurity with the children out of school. The free and reduced lunch programs, take care of them for those 2 extra meals a day during the normal school year. And then now with summer's out, where do those children find those? And so those are our two target audiences that we realize that is our capacity to feed here.
So the summer times y'all get real busy?
Yes, sir. Summertime, holidays, and spring break. Anytime a child is out of school, then we know that our resources will be leaned on a little bit more from the community that we provide in services to.
Is there a way that I guess you guys have to allocate budgets and food and things all the time, but how does that work in the summertime? Do you find yourself in more of a crunch, or how does that work?
Well, we do, only because we see people coming in and relying on us more, mostly because kids are out of school. So when they're getting their meals at school, for the summer, they don't get their meals at school anymore. So the parent or the guardian has to take on those extra meals. So we find that they need to come to us a little bit more often than they would during the normal school year. The other thing is, as Louis said, it gets hot. And so utility bills, they shoot up in the summer, which creates an additional stress on the family. And so we do utility assistance as well.
Oh, do you?
But so with that offering, we also offer food. So if they come in for a need of utility assistance, we partner with New Braunfels Utility on that. They can come here and get that, but then we'll also make sure they get offered in case they need food assistance.
So then what else do y'all do?
So we offer we connect our families with federal benefits. So like WIC, CHIP, Medicaid, Medicare, women's insurance, we do all that. So we can connect our families with those. We're not the final blessing and say, yes, you've been approved, but we can help them navigate through all the paperwork. Federal applications and stuff can be a little overwhelming to some individuals. And so we have folks that are certified to help them in the system there. So we do that for them. And then we also have job placement. So we have a workforce position here that helps folks connect to jobs. Like a lot of our donors and those people that support us in this facility and our mission also give us opportunities to help our families come out of their whatever cycle they're in and get them in better placing jobs, higher paying positions, in places for advancement and movement. And so it's a great opportunity for the donor to not only support us monetarily, but give us an opportunity to put our families in a better situation to break the cycle and get out of their normal, I hate to say the word rut, but to move on and to better themselves.
So you guys have donors and you have people that receive this. How do people who are in need get in contact with you guys and I guess with those programs? What's the best way for people to do that?
So, I mean, any way that they can. If they have access to a computer, they can go to our website, nbfoodbank.org. All of our offerings are listed there. If not, they have access to a phone. They can call us. 830-327-6000 is our main line, and we'll get them connected to any services they need. If they want to just drive up and take advantage of our food service, they'll just drive up during our open hours of food service. So Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 and 1 to 4. And then Saturdays, we're here from 9 to 1.
What's your address here?
1620 South Seguin Avenue.
Okay.
78130. Do I have to say that?
Yeah. So how do people, do they have to get pre-approved to get the benefits from the grocery store and stuff like that, or how does that work?
So for approval, there's different ways to qualify. So if you are already receiving federal benefits like WIC or food stamps, then that's automatically qualification. And then there's the federal income guidelines. So based upon the money you bring in, annual salary, divided by the number of individuals that are in the household, then we can qualify you there through the federal income guidelines. And then lastly is an emergency need. So like this February for the snowstorm that we had, a lot of families lost a lot of their food because the power went out. And so they were able to come under the emergency, to receive emergency assistance. And they just declared that in their forms. Okay. So we do have forms, we're audited and we make sure that everything is across the board. We were very transparent on how we operate. And so they just have to fill out the form and just list what the emergency was, or that the fact that they're receiving those benefits, or declare their income, so we can qualify them.
So is there sort of like a renewal? Like, let's say you fill out all the paperwork and it lasts for so long. Do you have to constantly do that every month or every quarter? Or?
It's like annually is what we try to do. But again, like Louie said, COVID was one of those emergent needs that hit a lot of people that had never needed food before. So with that, we were able to just qualify people for the year and just see them whenever they needed to come in for food assistance.
Okay. And then the job placement as well. That all happens upstairs, right?
Correct. We have Lisa, who is our workforce. So it's upstairs. They just go online and make an appointment with Lisa. Right now, we're not doing walk-ins, and eventually we will open the facility back up to the public. But right now, we're to take care of our staff and our volunteers. We're limiting access, but they can schedule an appointment where they can come in and sit with Lisa, and she can go through their skill sets. One thing that I forgot to mention, what we also offer is resume building, computer classes.
Oh, yeah.
We even have a class to teach folks. Some of our senior are not very savvy on the phone, even how to do simple application on the phone through a phone app. And so we even have people to teach them that. So
really?
We have some great volunteers that come in and teach those classes for us. I mean, we don't have the staff to do everything, so a lot of our service we offer is through a volunteer basis. And so, but they can just call, set up an appointment, even for federal benefits. Gloria, who is our person that handles our federal benefits packages, they can just set an appointment up, and Gloria will book them, and we'll bring them in, and they'll sit in an office away from each other and just go through it all. So it's a great way to get that. And a lot of our clients come by word of mouth.
Yeah.
By word of mouth, hearing that, I went to the food bank and this is what they had. So that's what we love to do, tours. We love to bring people in. We're more than just giving out food. We're doing the hand up through all our resources and our programs that we have to uplift families.
And I love it. One thing that I guess as far as like volunteers go, same process, online, come in, make a phone call, and you guys can straighten them out for somebody who wants to come and maybe help with the resume building and technology side of it too.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, our website is a great resource for volunteers to go on and sign up. If you want to kind of get a little bit more technical with the jobs here, like doing one-on-one job coaching or teaching a computer class, we would connect with you individually, just talk about what your skills are, what you want to share with our clients, and then either create a class or set up an appointment with you and a client that's maybe a potential job seeker. We do have a core group of volunteers that we rely on throughout the year that's called our Apple Corps volunteer.
Okay.
And they're just dedicated volunteers that are donating their skills to us and our clients. And we kind of have them on a list of like, we send out what our needs are and they fill them sometimes for us. But more of a skill-based volunteer that wants to dedicate like a schedule of time, not just to come in and work in the pantry, though that's needed also. They're going to come in and either lead the pantry group or do one-on-one stuff with our clients directly.
Okay. And what about the garden outside? Is that just available food that y'all can give to folks, or do you also help people learn to garden and work out there?
It's a little bit of both.
It's a beautiful garden.
Thank you.
It is. We've been able to bounce back since the snowstorm also. But we do have a master gardener / nutritionist on staff.
Oh, cool.
And so between her and several dedicated volunteers, we're able to grow and harvest, but we're also able to educate. So we have garden classes where we have people out there that can learn how to garden at home. Sometimes we're able to give seedlings. Sometimes we're able to give little starter plants that people can take home and plant and hopefully grow some food. But whatever we harvest out of there goes immediately into the pantry and pretty much doesn't last a day.
Yes.
Well, that day that we'd come up with the whole company, I thought we were doing a phenomenal job, which in turn it was like, you don't realize how big of a need there is, because we had filled everything. We moved so much food and it was gone, by like 2:00. And it was just amazing how much of a need there is. Have y'all gotten to use the commercial kitchen very often?
We do, actually. I was going to say, one of the things we haven't mentioned is that we have the commercial kitchen on site. We do meals for our Meals on Wheels program locally, so about 700 meals a day that is being transported through Meals on Wheels volunteers. And we are adding on summer food meals this summer, so starting on Tuesday. If you have a need for food assistance and you have a child under the age of 18, you can come through here Monday through Friday between 11 to 12 and pick up a grab-and-go meal that will be prepared in our kitchen.
Okay, so these are all hot meals. There's nothing that I guess frozen or anything like that?
No, it's all hot.
It's all hot meals. There might be one cold meal that we prepare once a week, but mostly hot meals, and it's just grab-and-go. We're asking people to pre-register online, so nbfoodbank.org, and you can figure out where you can pre-register on our website. That way we'll have the right numbers to prepare for, but it's pretty open, so just come through. The hours are strict, so we start at 11 and end at 12. Yeah. But if you have
That's one thing that I noticed too, is you guys stick on a time frame. Yes. So y'all have people coming in at a certain time, and it makes sense because you have to be able to do it that way. That way you can serve more people. But so definitely if you're going to take part in it, it's stick with the times that you guys give them.
We try to be as strict as possible just because we don't want just, the optics of doing stuff outside of that. It just gets confusing, and this way it's, pretty smooth, and we try to stick to those hours so that we're making sure everybody knows when they can be here, and we can make sure we get everybody served.
Makes sense. And the military folks?
Oh, they've been incredible. So the National Guard came to the aid of all food banks throughout the state, but for us in particular it was last March or April. I believe it was April of last year. We had already started shutting down in March and closed our facility out for folks coming in, and so the staff held it down very well. But the Guard came at the right time.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so we had 35 National Guard from, they were up in the Weatherford, Texas area. The 840th Maniacs was our first group. They were here through July. We even, I don't know if you knew, but we had like a big drive-by American flag, the Jeep Club. So Team 12-6 came and did a big thank you to them, and we had about 150 Jeeps out here throughout the property. They did the national anthem. It was incredible. So they really came to our aid, and now they're all in the state of Texas, and nationally, the Guard has been activated to support not only the COVID operations and immunizations, but to help food banks out. So our current group we have right now is another good group. So we have our fourth wave of units that have come through, and so that's wonderful. They've been fantastic for us. So we have them through September, with talk of the possibility of going further. So right now they're on federal orders from the president, and then it'll be a state decision after that. Okay, great.
And I've seen that y'all have done the real big food gives, I guess, at is it the church out there?
Tree of Life. We're doing one of the mega distributions in each county every single month. So we've been partnering with Tree of Life locally. We've done one at Oakwood Baptist Church. And then we've been doing some in Seguin as well, or Guadalupe County. So we've been working with Santikos.
Okay.
In Cibolo,
In
Santiago
Cibolo.
Cibolos. We've been working with them, and then we have one slated for Freedom Fellowship, 46. So we'll be doing one in July there.
And that is amazing, the work you guys are doing.
It's incredible the help we get,
Yes,
actually.
if it wasn't for the community that supports us, we could never do the amount of work we've done. I mean, we could always get the guard, but it takes food donations, it takes monetary donations, it takes volunteer hours to come through. So we've been very blessed as an organization to have the community wrap themselves around us and embrace us for whatever we needed.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are y'all still doing and I know we had talked about it maybe a year, 2 years ago. I always say a year ago, but last year was just kind of a trash year. Nobody really,
It was.
that wasn't much of anything. So I guess it was like 2 years ago. You talked about, I guess y'all were getting wild game from somewhere. Are y'all still doing that program?
We are the Hunters for the Hungry program. In fact, back at our main location in San Antonio, we're opening up a culinary training facility within the month. And I know I say that it's the 26th, so it'll be opening within this week.
Okay.
And it will be a processing center, also a culinary training center. So
That's
we'll be
pretty
able
cool.
to process our meat on site. It'll be a training opportunity. And we'll also move our culinary trainings program in there too.
So you'd mentioned there's only certain types of, I guess, wild game that are accepted. What are those, and where can, I guess, hunters take those so that it'll make its way to you guys?
So we have the list on our website as well, nbfoodbank.org. But mostly venison. We're not allowed to process pork at this moment. Though that's a great source of protein and it's great meat and it's very healthy and tasty.
And there's a bunch of it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
We're trying to work on that so that we're able to process pork as well. But right now it's venison.
What's the, what's the avenue that you would have to go to get them to approve pork? You guys
We
know?
have to talk to lawmakers
I
to
see.
make sure that we can
I see.
do that. And
I'll be honest
take
with you. I
advantage
grew
of
up in
it.
a small town, and we had a lot of wild pig.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big dude, so if there's one meat to eat, to me, I'd pick wild hog. It's I think it's great. But
well, being in this community, we've been able to taste it and to have people cook it for us, and it's really good. It's pretty lean.
Yeah.
But there's just some barriers right now, and we're trying to work on that so that we can make sure that we maximize.
That'll be awesome if that gets lifted,
Yeah.
because, like I said, there's so many of them, and a lot of hunters and ranchers will just they'll kill them and leave them for the coyotes because there's just so many, So I've always kind of felt like there's a disconnect between, feeding people and then you have this huge food source that nobody can do anything
That's
with.
running
And it's
wild
like,
all over the
yeah,
state.
and it's like, well, you just got to make that connection somehow. So
We're working on it.
That's cool.
Hopefully we
No,
can
that's
get
awesome.
that done.
Yeah, we even had folks that slaughter their own cattle, and then it fills up their freezers, and they call us, "Hey, can you take this?" And as long as it's been processed by a facility and it's all stamped, we can take that as well. So we've had folks donate, boxes and boxes of meat that was processed that doesn't fit in their freezers, and so we take that as well. So but as long as it's been put through a certified facility, we can take that. If it's homegrown, we can't really get touch that way, but we can definitely take it if it's been processed.
Okay, and that's the. You said on the website people can find where they can go and take that meat.
Yes, there's a list of processors that we partner with. If it's a certain number of head, I guess you would say, we might be able to pick it up just depending on the number that you have.
Okay. I don't know if I should bring this up.
Why not? You can edit
Housing?
it later.
Housing?
Housing, yes, actually.
I didn't. I see an empty lot next door, and I didn't know how far that was down the road, so I didn't want to really say
You are
anything.
so close.
We're just sending out the invitation for our groundbreaking.
Okay.
And so we will be breaking ground on June 15th.
Cool.
With the hopes of wrapping up the project within about 12 to 15 months.
Okay.
The goal is to be able to wrap it up before school starts so that we can start getting families in there and getting the kids into the school.
And what are we looking at potentially for the future? I mean, I'm sure there's a long way to go design-wise and conceptually and stuff, but...
Nope, that's all.
It's
pretty
all
much done.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campus that will adjacent our great facility here. So we hope to be a gym within the city of New Braunfels to have both the campus, the food bank, and the apartments, the Appleseed apartments.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
and it'll be it's designed right now for 51 units.
Okay.
With
So that's 51 families?
51 families, 2 and 3 bedrooms, so nothing under a 2-bedroom, and a flex space that we're kind of working on what that could be for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll start building pretty soon, and then you won't see an empty lot next door
That's
anymore.
awesome.
You'll drive by and see the pride of the nation. We'll be the only food bank in the nation,
I was going to ask
pretty
you.
much the world, that
Really?
would have an adjacent, apartments built into the campus that we manage and control.
That's outstanding. I'm telling you, I don't know the ins and outs of how you guys operate here for the most part, but it seems like for being as new a facility as you guys have, y'all have taken off like a rocket ship. And then with this new construction that you're going to be doing, that's pretty outstanding.
I mean, it's interesting because I think when we moved in, we were dealing right with the Hurricane Harvey hit the same month
that's
that we
right.
moved in, and I think that became kind of something that put us on the map a little bit with regard to people wanted to help, and they could come here to help, and it was local, and it was easy access for them, and they were able to bring resources here, and then our partners were able to take those resources to the affected areas after we processed them here. So it was kind of magical once we moved in. And then kind of fast forward to 2020 when COVID started. And, again, we never shut down. We never shut down during COVID. We were here.
I wondered that. I wondered that. But I stalked Monica on Facebook and Instagram, I think, and I was like, man, these guys are still going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
We work on the faith that everything's we get what we need and that we're all going to be okay to be able to do what needed to be done. And the first month, I think, was a challenge.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't something that we weren't up to, but it was challenging. And all of us, pretty much, regular duties were not a thing. We weren't doing anything normal. All of us
Well, it seems like you are always working.
That's
Well-
a true statement.
It's not work if you love it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But that was backbreaking work for about a month
Yeah.
that all of us were doing. And just, with the arrival of the National Guard, we had a couple of volunteers that were willing to come out because it was so unknown and the health risk, we
Yeah.
just didn't know. We knew we had to be here, and so we just kind of did it. But volunteers, they didn't have to be here.
Sure.
Some came in because they wanted to help and were going to come even if it was a risk to their own health.
Yeah.
But, once things settled a little bit and we got the National Guard, we were able to put all of the operations back into place and just start a new normal for the year.
Yeah.
And now we're getting back to, I don't know about getting back to where we were before, but just shifting back to being a little bit more open. And we have volunteers now. And so apartments are back online. All of that
cool.
stuff is happening. So
I feel like you guys are in a great place in New Braunfels. I've worked here, I guess, maybe 6 years now. But it seems like a really good community. And then you guys are kind of in a place where M&S wanted to be as well for a business standpoint, because it felt like it was a part of the area that wasn't being served very well. You have San Antonio serving San Antonio and Austin, but then New Braunfels is kind of like this. I think they were saying it was like the fastest growing county in the country or something like that. And then you've got, these other surrounding areas like Guadalupe County and, out in Gonzales and, even north of here. And there's just a lot of people in this area, so you guys being here is pretty huge. And even like you talked about with Harvey, this area in San Antonio, Austin too, it's kind of outside of that splash zone, so to speak, where you guys can stage here, people can stage things here or gather things here and then provide those to people in need down along the coast. So I think it's a great area.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way that it works is because the areas that get affected, sometimes their food banks are down. They all have a food bank that covers them.
Yeah.
But when Houston is underwater,
And power's out, yeah.
then the Houston food bank is out too.
Yeah.
And so we step up as the neighboring food banks to be able to collect resources and process things, and then as we can, ship them out to the places that are affected.
Yeah.
So it's a great partnership. I mean, we all work together through Feeding Texas, and then larger scale through Feeding America as well. And
Okay.
we responded to Puerto Rico. We responded to the Virgin Islands.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
That's
Your
awesome.
food bank here, the San Antonio New Braunfels Food Bank, I mean, they're known worldwide.
Yeah.
I would say we have a great opportunity and we do so much. So we're recognized throughout the world for the work we do.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. I remember you mentioned about maybe going to Puerto Rico a couple years back or something.
Yeah.
So that's great that you guys are able to help them out.
Yeah, we missed that trip to Virgin Islands because we didn't have passports.
Oh,
They wanted us to
no.
go down there, and it was her, myself, and
You can't even go to Mexico without a passport.
yeah.
I learned my lesson.
Me and Nina volunteered for Christmas, I guess, a couple of Christmases ago. And one thing that was just, if you need to be Godsmacked, volunteer and do for other people, And we'd come and it was I think it was pretzels with chocolate and stuff.
The
I
dips.
thought so.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was like. I remember you. We even gave you a hat.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we both still have them. She has hers in the house. I have mine in the truck. But I think she put them in the house. But anyway, so one thing that I told Nina when we left, I was like, I'm a super cocky person. So every now and then God pokes me and reminds me of who I am. And, being here and providing that for the kids. And I think there was a Santa here and they had storytelling and it was great. And I told my wife, I said, in a world that is driven by consuming, what else, what more, nothing's ever enough. They start selling Christmas, in September.
Yeah.
And here are these kids with their parents and they're just seeing Santa, having snacks. I think the hot chocolate too, listening to stories. And it's like, that to me is wonderful because they're so happy. And you guys give them plenty, but it's not what most kids are experiencing or other kids are experiencing, where you have 20 gifts and then they don't see them ever again. And it's just kind of like, it really makes you kind of get rid of all the BS and start to refocus on things that are important. And one thing that kind of floored me a little bit was the kids would get treats and the parents would stand there. And I'd always tell them, if you want some, you can get some, And they'd look at me like, I can get some? And it's like, yeah. And so I told my wife, I said, there's so many programs that are driven towards the kids that the parents seem to get overlooked from time to time.
Right.
And they get used to it, And so they just stand off to the side and, let the kids enjoy. And, that's something that kind of stuck with me, that along with, the older folks. And, it's a good opportunity for us to remember what's important in life.
Yeah.
It's not the monetary things or the material things. It's the connection with people and getting to see, spending time with family.
Yeah.
So I mean that's something that made a huge impact, and I love that you guys are a part of that. So
Thank you. Well, we're glad. Like when you walked in, I was like, I think he looks like the guy from the chocolate sticks.
he was all sweaty back
The
then.
pretzel sticks.
and that was the other thing that I kind of I guess some of the pretzel sticks were broken, and to me, I grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
We didn't have much.
What town did you grow up in?
In
again?
George West. Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably about an hour and a half
Yes.
south. And so, we always had enough, but, there was things that don't waste.
Yeah.
And so I was giving away the broken pretzel sticks, and somebody, I don't remember, was like, don't put out the broken ones. And I was like, well, I don't want to waste them.
Yeah.
And then it kind of dawned on me, it was like, this is their opportunity to come and have a good experience.
Yeah.
A kid doesn't want to eat a broken pretzel stick.
The staff will eat them later.
Yeah.
Staff will eat them later,
Drizzle the chocolate.
We won't waste them.
And so there was something like this. So it's funny because, like I said, I get reasonably cocky and full of I always tell my wife, for being fat and unattractive, I have more self-esteem than what I should. But it's nice to be part of that, because it reminds you of the importance. My dad grew up without very much at all.
Yeah.
And so this sounds kind of strange, but when I experience things like, because we've done better than what he did when he was younger, and we don't live the life that he lived. And I did a podcast or two with him just to kind of get his story and stuff. But experiencing those experiences makes me realize that the experience my own dad had,
Right.
you know, and so it touches me, you know, it really does, and like I said, you guys being a part of that, and you know, adding on to it, and like I said, putting rocket boosters on this place and taking off it like you guys have, it's amazing, and I'm proud of you guys for that.
Yeah,
I think we're just building the community. I think we provide services for both people that have resources and people that need resources, and we are just the middle point where those two come together. And it actually is, like you said, it's a beautiful thing, because, you know, we're just here trying to be helpful and trying to exist and trying to make sure that people have a dignified experience when they're here.
Yeah, and you guys do a great job of it. Yeah, really do. You know, one thing that we've noticed going to being in the construction industry is a lot of times you go to a building that you've designed or you've worked in, and then you walk around and it doesn't look like it did when you built it. You know, and this place has stayed nice. It's been organized. It looks great. You know,
take great pride in that.
And it's full. It's got, you know, it's lived in, but it looks great. You know, and I think that is huge when somebody can come into a facility and it still be as clean and neat as a place that is a high-end, expensive facility to go into. You know, and they have that experience, and the place is nice, and the place is clean, and people are comfortable. You know, that's you guys are doing a great job with that too.
That means a lot to us. I know.
We have to credit our volunteers, because we don't have anybody that we pay to do the cleaning.
Yeah.
It's mostly volunteers that are doing it.
And guard.
And the National Guard.
Once in a while.
So it's safe to say you guys are always taking volunteer help.
Yes, we are.
And even more so when things go south.
Correct. We always have opportunities. They can look online if they follow our social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You know, when we have a call to action, we will post it on there, and so people can know like when the need comes. And so we do email directly to some folks as well. We have a need, you know, for the mega distributions that we do in both counties. You know, those are where we need the kind of surplus of volunteers. Granted, it falls on a Thursday morning, so most people are working and stuff. But if they have an opportunity, if they want to get involved, we have a way for them to get involved. Even for corporate groups to come and do a team building volunteer project, we have our afternoons open for that.
Okay.
Or if a group, church group, or any group of any size, they said we just like to be to ourselves. We can accommodate almost anything here.
Okay.
Between the gardening to the building of the boxes to sorting food in the pantry area.
Okay.
Or the kitchen.
In the kitchen, yes.
Yeah, and we have most of our volunteer opportunities listed online, but if you don't see something that accommodates your group, reach out to us, because we want to make it work for you. We don't really try to have age restrictions, because we want to make sure that everybody can volunteer as a family. Sure. So we're open to that, and we need volunteers. So
and like you said earlier, if somebody has a particular skill set, whether it's gardening or culinary or you know, resume building or technology, you know, that's a good opportunity to come and spend some time here too.
yes, we definitely need that skilled volunteers as well.
Awesome.
We have a staff of 12, but we have the job of many.
Yeah.
So most of it is done with volunteers.
Okay, that's wonderful. What else was I going to ask you guys? Programs for the summertime? What do you have coming up?
Well, Louie is probably going to talk about some of those things.
We talked about, you know, the ability to provide families with the meals through our summer feeding program. But right now we're running a campaign, 1 million meals for kids. So we looked at the numbers, the demographics of how many students in Comal and Guadalupe that are affected by the free and reduced lunch program. With them being out of school, they're missing those 2 meals a day. And so we're running a campaign to raise funds funds or food to reach a million meals. And so we're running a campaign right now. All the information's online. They can go to mbfoodbank.org/summer meals, and they can donate. You know, $1 for us is equal to 7 meals. Oh, wow. So imagine that impact if you did $1 a week. You know, one child is getting a meal for that week. So that really helps out a lot. So the impact the hard, when you work hard for your money and you're going to donate it, you want it to have the greatest impact.
Sure.
So when you place a bet, you want to place a good bet. And so, investing in the food bank and investing in lives and the ability to change a child's life is always a win. And so through that program, so we have some local banks, some banks are coming together here, so they're all going to contribute to be drop-off points. So we're going to list those on our website as well. And the community's starting to rally right now. So if anybody hearing the podcast that says, hey, my company wants to do a food drive for you and get involved, all they got to do is reach out to ourselves, just call the main line at 830-327-6000 and ask for Louie, and we can get them connected with some barrels, even some QR codes where folks that come in and said, oh, I forgot to bring my cans or my canned goods. Here, just take a picture of this and go and you can do your donation right online.
Oh, wow.
So, but we're going to be running it through the summer to ensure that we're able to meet the needs of our
So
families.
you guys make it real easy to donate.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
really do. There's no excuse not to donate.
They can come in.
I
and,
mean, we would say there's no excuse.
like if they want to drive by and throw change in the yard, I'll go out there and pick it all
collect
up.
it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's incredible. I grew up here in Commerce, just south of here, and so I was raised on beans and rice.
Yeah.
And so my stepdad was a truck driver. Mom was the only one at home as a homekeeper, and I remember those summer months where she would just send you to the neighbor's house, go to the park, go to the pool, and you go to the pool, you're playing so much and you're enjoying the water, you forget you didn't eat lunch.
Yeah.
So when you come home, then you're too tired and you rest out. So like that was, I think that was Mom's strategy, and not for the fact that she didn't care about us, but how could she?
Yeah.
And so, we went to, our church had a little pantry that she would pick up commodities from the church, and it was always a guessing game. Like it was our biggest thing on Saturday morning that Mom would come back from the church and we'd run through that box to see what was in there. A lot of times it's stuff we didn't want, but it was stuff we needed, but we wanted the good stuff. And so that's why I think we're impassioned for the work that we do, is because of where I came from. There should never be a little Louie running around wondering where his next meal's coming from, or have to eat the same thing over and over again. So,
and the variety of foods that you guys supply for people is it's pretty healthy variety. You were talking about rice and beans, but growing up, we were in the similar situation where it was all filler. It was all potato or rice. So those poor eating habits.
Yes.
You grew up with them because that's how you ate. There wasn't a
Fideo.
lot. Fideo. There wasn't a lot of
I love
protein. So you did, and even vegetables. I mean, we kind of grew up not wanting vegetables anyway, but it was all filler. It was rice and potatoes. And so here that there's more of a variety. I've seen lots of vegetables and proteins and things like that. So that's great.
Yeah, we try to push a lot of fresh produce. We have great donors that support, and we order through the San Antonio Food Bank to get fresh produce up here. Local donors also, even local community gardens during COVID, were bringing us this spinach and fresh lettuce, like just picked, and brought it in bags for us to give to our family. So they came to our aid real quick. And I know there's a lot of urban gardens around here that we have been in talks with that want to support us. And then our own community garden, when we have the possibility. But our focus is nutritional value. We have the fillers, we have bread, we have potatoes we get, but we have a good variety of nutritional items that we provide to our families to make sure that, again, everybody should have that option. The dignity of saying, I can make the meal I want versus I have stuff to make a meal.
Yeah.
I have things just to put together, or I can make the meal I want to provide for my family. If you look at every major event in your life, whether it's celebrations or grieving or birthday parties, everything revolves around the table.
Sure.
Holiday meals, you sit and you eat and you commune with your family or your loved ones. We set the table 365 days out of the year to make sure that families can do that.
And it's not the pork in the can and the cheese loaf that we used to
The
get
cheese
when we
loaf,
were kids.
never knock the cheese loaf,
Still
because
have the cheese loaf.
I will tear up some cheese loaf right now.
I had a buddy named Joe, and he would heat up a pan full of oil and just dip it in there and bite it, and I was like, oh no. Hey, but
some restaurants have made that gourmet.
Yeah. Fondue.
he was doing it in the early 90s, so.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about? I know you guys are busy.
I think just a little bit of a shift that we've had this past year also is that we do home delivery.
Oh,
yeah.
So we need support in home delivery. So anybody that's willing to come and pick up some food and deliver it to a client, we need that help.
okay.
We want to make sure access is easy for those who need. Transportation is an issue locally. So we just need help with that. And that information's on the website too. We're doing the, what is it, second Thursday of the month?
Second and fourth Thursday of the month, we're doing home deliveries.
Home deliveries.
Yeah.
And
So
those
they
are in the
just-
morning? Or,
Yes, in
or all
the
day long?
morning through, I think the first volunteers arrive like at 9 o'clock, and then we'll get the cars loaded up with however many they want to I think we got 4 to 5 families that they can deliver to, and off they go.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a great experience as a volunteer to be able to do that and make sure that somebody gets nourishment because you gave a little bit of your time to come and pick it up and deliver it to them. We did prepared meals that we delivered over Thanksgiving, and then we did food boxes for Christmas along with some gifts, which has all been new to us because we didn't do that before.
Yeah.
But Louie and I ended up doing a Thanksgiving route, and
We did four little families in Seguin. And
Okay.
the first one broke our heart. It's this little senior in her little senior community, and she welcomed us in and wanted to hug us and blessing us and saying that maybe her neighbor will wake up and he can come and eat with her. We were the only contact she had on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, wow.
And so as we left there, like it just tore you apart. Like you think of your grandmother, or your
Sure.
mother and loved ones that are going through this. Like somebody out there loves this lady, but can't be here because of COVID.
Yeah.
And so we did several, and then we went out to a further one where the home it broke your heart to see the conditions.
Sure.
But thanks to the job that we do, we made a difference that day. So we delivered a hot meal to them, and they were able to share, again, the holiday, to set the table for the holiday. And so, but the home delivery is a great opportunity to get to meet your neighbors safely and just say, thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing me to serve you in this manner.
That's awesome. So who's the brainchild on all this stuff?
oh, we're collectively trying to figure it out as a group. I mean,
That's wonderful.
we're kind of on a, as we see people in the need and people call us with different scenarios, we're just trying to figure it out. And home delivery, it's been a goal, but we've not really felt like it's something that we could have achieved as quickly as we ended up doing it through COVID. But I mean, we have a great team, and together we're able to make the match from the people that need to get deliveries and the people that can do deliveries. I think Louie will share with you the Jeep story on the snowstorm that just was.
Yeah, again, the community comes together, but during the snowstorm, we were all, half of us lived down in San Antonio, so we were blocked from coming up here.
Yeah.
And it was Wednesday evening, sitting in the dark, and I know Thursday the roads were a little bit lightened up, so half the staff the staff that lives here locally was able to come in. And so I get a phone call from Rebecca with Team Trail 6. Mm-hmm. And so she said, Louie, what can we do? And I says, well, we're not able to make it up, but we will be open tomorrow. And I said, I know we have a ton of families already calling that they need home deliveries. And we had 20 Jeeps the first day.
Wow.
So they delivered. I mean, we were trying to call families, do you need, can we get you? And so then we had families booked out the next day. So Thursday and Friday, the Trail Team 6, I think it was close to 77 or 87 families they delivered to in 2 days.
Wow.
Where they came, picked up food here, and they were just running back. I was running points, so on Thursday from home on my phone, the staff here would tell me this is the address. I would text it to them. They would send a Jeep, a red Jeep showing up, or like they have their little names on them and stuff.
Yeah.
So they'll expect the raiders coming.
That's
and so,
outstanding, man.
So they rallied around us and embraced us. That's the same club that came here on the 4th of July. They had a Thanksgiving picnic, and they raised donations and did a drive for us. So it's the community.
Yeah. We're
just a vessel to allow the pass through from the gift to the client, and then back from the client to receive. And so it's incredible. This community is incredible.
That's awesome. Well, you guys play a huge role in it, making that connection too. I mean, it's like you said earlier. You said it earlier, where there's people who have and people that need, and you're just making that connection. But that connection's massive, and the effort that you guys put in. And like I said, I'm always following her, and she's always doing something. So I mean, that's That's huge, you know.
Yeah.
You guys are doing God's work.
You
so
need to
that's a
follow
good
Louie
thing.
because he does a lot more.
I'm gonna have to add you, Louie.
Let me know. Follow me.
Don't follow me because I have tons of inappropriate things. That I post.
I like to follow that. I keep it clean, so I like to follow somebody else that can.
You know, with that snowstorm, you know, you get so busy with making sure that you have plenty, and then there's immediate family and things like that. And you know, I had never, the food bank had never crossed my mind, you know, and that's an unfortunate thing that it didn't, you know. But it's kind of like having, what is the Jeep group's name?
Trail Team 6.
Trail Team 6.
New Braunfels Trail Team 6.
You know, having somebody like that can, you know, move people that quick and start getting things happening, you know, and be able to log those miles for you guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
I mean, we kind of felt helpless at home, like struggling with our own lack of electricity, lack of water, and then, you know, not being able to respond to those in need here. We shifted. The girls started getting phone calls. Everybody started taking phone calls at home. And then the day that we couldn't get here, and then setting up for the next day so that when the Jeep Club came through, we were able to get those Jeeps filled with food and out into the community. And they can move around in those vehicles, which is why they made the offer. But we did, you know, we were at home like, how do we...
Yeah, you feel guilty for being at home.
How do we not be there right now?
You're trapped. You can't make it up here. And, you know, your staff is up here. And the great thing is all the staff came in. All the staff came in. They rallied around. They stayed later.
We didn't even have electricity when they were coming in here.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The plan was to open without electricity because we could at least open up the pantry and distribute the dry goods.
Yeah. You know, one thing that people, especially people up north, forget is, you know, they go, well, you had snow. Yeah, what big deal? You know, it's kind of like, well, you know, my response to that is always wait till it's 90 degrees up there, you know.
Burn them out.
Burn them out.
Also, we don't have the infrastruccture for the storm that we had.
No. And you know, we might have a freezer, a day or two of freezing, and most people, you know, might have a day or two of extra food or whatever, but to go 7 days, that's not typical down here.
When they get those rolling power outages because of the heat wave, then they'll know our pain.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be in a cold house than a hot house.
Yeah. You know, we work with an architect out of Dallas, and his sister, I think, was in Kerrville, and it was 34 degrees in her house. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's not typical, you know. So to say, well, you should have prepared, you know, I'm from a small town. I'm like, always be prepared to some degree. But, you know, you don't envision 7 days. And then not only that, it was frozen. We had rolling blackouts, you know. But on top of that, you know, there was COVID. You know, then it was to go to the grocery store, and they're only letting a handful of people in because of COVID. So then you've got everybody outside in the snow. It was
water shortage.
The water was a problem. Yeah.
And our partners are amazing. I remember that from home, I was texting Amazon, Tri-City Distributors, all of those places that are like, we're already working on getting you water before you even asked. Yeah. Which is just a testament to this community and the response that we get from our donors and supporters. I mean, everybody compliments us, but we don't do it alone. Yeah. And so we have to throw the compliment back out to the community that supports us.
Yeah, even Caterpillar was getting their employees rallied up for the day we were open. Mm-hmm. We want to fill your volunteer slots. We want to be there to show your support. So
that's outstanding.
Everybody rallied around each time. And so we always have faith that everybody will deliver on the goods that we need, whether it's time, food, or money.
That's wonderful. Well, anything else, guys?
One last thing I got to play.
One last thing.
I don't know when this is going to post, but on...
I'll have it up Friday.
Oh, perfect. So if you have any car enthusiasts or trucks that have rock lights or Jeeps or motorcycles or classic cars, we're doing our first annual car show here at the New Braunfels Food Bank. So it'll be Saturday, July 12th. Okay. In the evening, 6:30 till 9:30, or whenever they decide to leave. Like, I plan on being here. But it's going to be a car show. All the proceeds for the entry fees will go towards the 1 Million Meals campaign. Awesome. So everybody that enters the car show, they're providing 140 meals for the community.
That's awesome.
And so we're going to have music. We have a DJ planned to be up top. We invited New Braunfels Nightlife to do their podcast, or you can come and do a podcast, overlook the facility. But we just want it to be a nice community event, a nice fun event. We're looking to have food, some food trucks on the property as well. I'm crossing my fingers. We have, for the kids, there might be the lightsaber guard.
Okay.
So the Jedi guard that's in San Antonio, we've partnered with them before. So it'll be nighttime, so they'll teach children Jedi sword fighting, clean and
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
So and we're looking to bring on other things. Like if it seems to be a fit, we want to make it a fit. We want it to be a family affair.
Sure.
So if anybody wants to, they can go on to reach out to the food bank, or they go to our Facebook page. We have an event page for the Braunfels Food Bank for its Race Against Hunger, and it's July 12th from 6:30 until whenever. Like I plan to have my Tundra out there all lit up in blue lights and flashing lights and ready to go. So
should I bring my Subaru?
Yeah, bring it, park it right next to mine.
Park it on the other side of the field.
I'll turn the inside lights on.
Flash the headlights.
But we thank you for your time and coming in and allowing us to share the mission, as we tapped on and I guess name drop the people that support us. It's incredible.
That's
there's so many that we didn't name.
I feel bad because there's so many, but we would be here forever with you.
Well, I appreciate you guys' time, and I love the work that you guys do, and I know me and Nino will pull our head out and get out here more often because every time we do, we enjoy helping. So it's been wonderful.
We gave you the Santa hats with the agreement that you'd come back.
So
I
we're
will
looking
come
to have
back.
it.
I will come back.
We're working on something for this Christmas, so hopefully
Yes.
it'll pan out. But we're looking to do something special this
That's
Christmas
cool.
too.
Well, I'm super excited. Thanks, Monica and
Thank
Louie.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys, and thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Gabe Molina Podcast.